reflections on the water, more than darkness in the depths. See him surface in every shadow. On the wind I feel his breath. Golden eye, I found his weakness. Golden eye, he'll do what I please. Golden eye, no time for sweetness, but a bitter kiss will bring him to his knees. See him move through smoke and mirrors, feel his presence in the crowd. Other girls, they gather around him. If I had him, I wouldn't let him out. Golden eye, not lace or leather. Golden chain, take him to the spot. Golden eye, I'll show him forever. It'll take forever to see what I've got. You'll never know how I watched you from the shadows as a child. You'll never know how it feels to get so close and be denied. It's a gold and honey trap I got for you tonight. Revenge, it's a kiss. This time I won't miss. Now I've got you in my sight. With a golden eye. Golden, golden eye. With a golden eye. Golden eye.
Welcome to Kommunity Kerbals Episode 18. I'm your host, Devious Dave Rose. And we're here again to do another episode. Pops is fastly asleep. And we got a little time here to spare. So first and foremost, as we always do, let's show our gratitude and appreciation for all those who have chosen to spend their time with us here today. We have Inspector Todd, who unfortunately in the game did suffer a casualty for being the first ever to try to launch from the Aurora spaceplane platform. But knowing this game, and as fucked up as it is, he may just still be alive. I mean, after all, Tommy and Hamza died, and yet they're back in the roster, so... Unfortunately, Todd, I did try to save you as best I could, and the re-entry heat caused your demise. But don't worry, we can always resurrect you. We got J Diz. We got Travis TLC, who obviously inspired me to use that great track at the beginning of the show. That was Tina Turner doing the GoldenEye theme from the movie GoldenEye. Travis says it is his favorite theme. I don't know. When it comes to Bond themes, there's so many good ones that it's hard to pick. But yeah, that is definitely a very good one, nonetheless. And as I said in the chat, she's got, let me just quote myself to be absolutely certain that hold on. Best legs in the business. And yeah, she does. She's now, I think she's getting close to 80, but I mean, into her 60s and 70s, she was still performing, and she had some really good legs. We also have First Love, Steve Callan, and the lovely Mrs. Foulmouth Ken. All right, so since Travis did inspire me to do a few things in this game, I think we will start off with that. And then we still have Tiff, who is still in orbit of the moon, as was the last episode. She got there. The entire craft is nice and fully fueled and ready to rescue the Three Stooges, YR, Bullfrog, and Keith from the orbit of the moon. Now, let's get this going here. Oh, I forgot. I've got to get my phone working because, yet again, I'm quite the procrastinator and have yet to hook up my monitor, but my second monitor, so I can monitor the chat. But that'll be done soon enough. Don't you worry. Let me just, oops, hold on. Oh, and for all those dissenters and stuff, I really just don't give a shit if people are watching or not watching my stream, if it ends up being one person or 100 people. I'm just here to fucking play some space. That's what I like to do. Bubbles likes to do that. You know, he's a representative of the Trailer Park Boys, and I like to do that too. So I don't give a fuck, and I'm here to fucking distract myself from life's troubles and have a little bit of a respite, as they were. Costanza says, can we send an asteroid to hit Earth yet? Soon we'll redirect an asteroid, and we're gonna have to attach a rocket to it so that we can actually force it into Earth orbit, and then we could see it crash into Earth. Well, Kerbin, the planet. All right, so let's transition to the game here. Gonna make sure it's working. Oops. Check that. There we go. All right, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start the game and go right back to resume saved. So we're back at New Frontier. Now what we're going to be doing first and foremost is in honor of Travis, we're going to be putting up the GoldenEye satellite. And unfortunately, I don't necessarily have the ability to stock-wise, okay, because we're using stock parts, to be able to create a analogous model of the actual James Bond GoldenEye satellite. But let's see what we can do. So first, we're going to pick our actual unit here. And I think this is probably going to be the best one because it's the largest. Yeah, hold on. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is our largest unit here. So we're going to call this GoldenEye. And we'll say created and manufactured by TLC LLC TLC Space LLC. There we go. TLC Space LLC. Limited liability company. And, all right, so we're going to save that. And, well, it definitively will need to have optics, which are available here under utility. So where is it? This thing. No, this thing. No. Where is it? There's an optics package here. Just got to figure out where the fuck it went. Oh, actually, it might be under science. Infrared Sentinel. There's Sentinel infrared telescope, but we're not really looking into space. This is a satellite to orbit to Earth unit. So a surface scanning module. Now, let's just be honest. This is sandbox. So there's really no science points that are gained from this. This isn't really going to do anything, but we're going to try to make it authentic. So we get a surface unit here. Let me just focus in. Okay. All right. So next up, let me just keep checking with the chat. Okay. So Travis says the GoldenEye satellite is a targeted EMP space weapon developed by the Soviets during the Cold War. All right. So what can we do to try to emulate that? Because we're going to need, obviously, optics on this, but we can't necessarily emulate a EMP. But we can try to do something. Either way, we want it to be able to orbit the planet and, act sort of like Travis is explaining here. So let's see. How are we gonna do this? I could attach all these extra things here. They're not really necessary. It's just more, just sort of collection stuff. Look at this shit. This is the infrared camera here. Huge. Yeah, we're not going to need that. So, let me just quickly check. Okay, so what we want is we're going to want fuel here. No, too small. Okay, there we go. So this is our RCS to be able to maneuver ourselves. We're going to get control and command, or command and control, however the fuck you want to talk about it. I'm going to go for 3. That should be sufficient. Okay, so there we go. Let's see what else. Could put a reaction wheel, but it's small enough that it won't need that. That basically just creates a sort of gyroscopic motion that will allow for the craft to actually move better and maneuver itself without any use of RCS fuel. But we won't need that. Let's put a few little sprinkly things on here. It's got 1,000 charge. Actually, you know what? That's what we do want. We do want actual, what are they called? Solar panels. If I remember correctly, actually, in the movie, they actually did have solar panels on the GoldenEye satellite. All right, so, but we're also going to need, let's see here. The charge is 1,000. We got, solar panels to keep that charge as well. We got the fuel. We're going to need a fuel tank maybe to, produce some sort of thrust. This is a little small here, but actually no. But I think by this point, by the time that we can get this launched, we should be okay. Let's see. We're going to actually use the sub-assembly we've already created, which is the, what's it called? The Fedora 1. No, sorry, the Invincible, which was inspired by Todd. Fedora 1 is the plane that was created for Tommy and Hamza's failed flight. All right, so let's see. We'll make this purdy too. I wish there was. Well, actually, there are plugins for this game. Holy shit, the wind's fucking going nuts. Hopefully, this fucking video doesn't fucking cut out. Hey, Tony. But yeah, hopefully, I can pick something here that. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. I don't really need to add too much more. That's the thing. I always seem to over-engineer things, which isn't ever a bad thing, but you know, I do overthink the stuff because of the over-engineering, and I want to try to avoid that. So, let's see here. You know what? This is the Travis. This is the closest thing I can get to an EMP. It's we're gonna do a railgun type weapon here. Okay, so let's see. That would be basically our like this thing will basically shoot down towards Earth. So that's the best sort of weapon I can provide you. I don't think I have to. No, I don't have to add a detacher here because this should just separate once. Because yeah, this thing here just shoots. Oh no, but we do want to actually. Okay, so yeah, so we can want a decoupler here. Nope, too small, too big, and just right, like she said. All right, so. Yeah, we're going to want these to eject at the same time. So, you know, it fires the rocket and then shoots off. So, this will be the best that we can do there, Travis. Considering the limitations of our of our game. So, now we're going to want to detach. This thing's going to have to detach, so we're going to need a decoupler for that. Okay. But we're going to want a fairing that's going to actually be sufficient. Yeah, so there we go. So. Boom. No, we're going to do that. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so GoldenEye is ready. We're going to go straight to our sub-assembly here. This is the great thing about having these prepped. As we pop it in. And we're going to look at this whole thing. This thing definitely will get us into orbit, and we'll have a lot of extra fuel. So yeah, we'll see. In fact, we've got so much fuel that we'll be able to adjust ourselves any way we want. I mean, we could put ourselves as an orbital defense platform over the moon. So, but either way, you know what? Always better to be over-engineered, because you never know in Kerbals. So we're going to save that. Let me just check the final staging here. Okay, so that ejects. And then we got... Actually, so where are the fairings? Where are the fairings? Fairings. So this ejects. And then, no, we don't want that. We want the fairings to... actually come off much sooner. So that's, hold on. So after this one is where I'd say the fairing should go off, because by this point we're going to be in orbit. So, boom, and then boom. Yeah, and then this one goes. Yes, perfect. Save and launch. We got Connor in the chat here. Let me just quickly look at my phone. It says, Dave, do you like soccer football? If you do, a game you might like is a Football Manager 22. It's really in-depth game and got an old school vibe. Is that on Steam or anything? Like, where would you get that? Because yes, I do love football. It's actually written F-U-T-B-O-L. And it is the beautiful sport for a reason. And yeah, there's, granted, you know, most of the people in FIFA are vying for some sort of fucking Oscar for their, you know, Oscar-winning performance about, oh my God, I got flicked in the ear and I've been injured, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, a lot of faggots in FIFA. But people like Messi, for example, are gods when it comes to this game. And they don't fall for this theatrics and shit. They prove themselves to be the proper gentlemen that they are. So yes, and 2022 World Cup. It's looking good to me. All right, so here we go. We're going to activate SAS right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to increase thrust about 90%. And engage. Release. Good stability. Check our range here. So a nice stable orbit is about 100 kilometers. 60 is usually sufficient, but 100 is a safe, stable, and non-deteriorating orbit. And this rocket's going to have more than enough fuel to basically go to the moon if we wanted it to. We've already proved that it can get to the moon. So we're now about 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers up. Almost a surface speed of 300 meters per second. We're looking here. We want to just manage things properly here. Usually it's best about 20-25 kilometers to actually start our roll so that we can actually get into an equatorial orbit. But we also want to watch our apoapsis here to make sure it doesn't go too high. So I'm going to start the turn now. If we do this, we're actually going to see, let's start to adjust. But it also expands our actual trajectory. So we're right on the equatorial. That's what we want. 90 degrees. Altitude at 72 kilometers. Fuel's almost done in this stage, which is good because then we're, you know, once it's ejected, it's going to burn up in the atmosphere. We don't want any remnants of this stuff in orbit. Okay, so we're going to throttle up. Okay, so this is increasing here. We're going to wait till it's about 100 kilometers. Slowing down here. What we want to do is we want to what's called circularize our orbit as soon as we hit this apoapsis. And as I've told you in the past, I was going to show you more and more about how to add maneuvers. So this maneuver is to be, started at this point, at the highest point of the apoapsis. So we're going to increase this. We're going to see here that the periapsis, the lowest point, is about 80. Increase it a little more. When it flips around like that, we're basically almost identical. So we have about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. We got to orient ourselves towards our maneuver. We're going to click that right now. And you're going to see this actually move itself, as you can see right now. But it's going to keep adjusting because we're not at the optimum orbit just yet. So we have the capsule itself. The next stage will basically be See, here's the thing. I could have calculated this a little bit better. The next stage will be this rocket, but the fairings, though, we want to sort of get off now. So we can actually adjust this to here, and then... Well, that should have actually... Ah! Son of a bitch! Okay, well, thankfully I've engineered this sufficiently so that I can at least get us into orbit. Great job, Dave. Another fuck up. Surprised I haven't been removed from my position as the space director. Connor says, I think it's on most platforms. If you like South American football, you can play as teams from Argentina, Brazil, anywhere. It's a great game. Okay, so I'm going to have to look into Steam for that shit, or Epic, or whatever the fuck. See. Oh, what's up? Will Tactics says, yo, was listening to Too Many Chefs from this weekend. I'm about to have a burger for dinner right now. Well, I hope you enjoyed the, the episode. After all, you were the one that suggested that, and I appreciate it. So hopefully it was enjoyable. All right, so we're about 18 seconds in, 16 seconds in. We should have actually fired earlier, but now we're going to do that right now. Look at how quick that goes down. Got to slow. Oh, there we go. So our maneuver is basically complete. Over-engineering does work quite well. Hopefully, there we go, the space debris here of GoldenEye will crash back into orbit, or into the atmosphere, I should say, and reduce its orbit. So now we've got GoldenEye basically active, at least in orbit, I should say. We got Bam in the chat says, nah, they will just promote you. Seems what most companies do with fuck-ups. Yeah, exactly. To be quite honest, you fail upwards in a lot of managerial positions, and I've witnessed that personally. It's hilarious how many stupid people are elevated to positions where they shouldn't be. All right, so we got a lot of fuel, and we got a stable orbit. First and foremost, we're going to extend our solar panels here. Nope. Did I only attach two? Yeah, it looks like I did. Oh well. And this one's currently observing Kerbin, observing its longitude and latitude. And we have this, our weapon to fire down onto the planet. Oh, Feslov says, look out for aliens from Minnesota. I hear they strike again. Yeah, you always got to watch out for them. All right, so you know what? I think we're going to fuck around with our orbit here, and we're going to try to make it a polar orbit. So let's see if we can do this here. Polar orbits are actually some of the ones that are most difficult to get into, especially from the launch platforms that are available. You know, even in Russia, you have to do some quite massive adjustments to get into a polar orbit, and that's where all the spy satellites want to be, in a polar orbit. They get a lot more of Earth, and yeah, it's hard to track them and such. So, I'm going to change our orbit here. Let's get to our maneuver. And chances are, yes, there will be, this extra stage here stuck in orbit. But hey, it is what it is. So, let's go. Oh, so we did run out of fuel. All right. So we're going to eject this. That's not supposed to stay there. All right, well, there we go. And auto-saving, good. All right, so there we go. GoldenEye is now active, Travis. 00. Where should I track? So if we wanted to, we could strike down Boston. And there's quite a few people down there that apparently are, not the coolest cats. But there we go. GoldenEye, up and running. Connor says, do you think there will ever be a hotel in orbit, like a space center but a hotel? Yes, that's imminent. It's coming. So, you know what? I say that we fire off the weapon. What do you say, Travis? He is the one that has the golden eye and the golden key and the golden gun. So I think it should be up to him. If he wants to hold off on firing GoldenEye, we can do so. There's only one shot that we've got available, and there's no guarantee we're going to hit anything. So if you would just rather keep it for the time being, we'll yield to your opinion, 00. And I'm going to wait for Travis. Actually, I'm going to go back to OBS and transition back. So the game will obviously keep running. And this is now in stable orbit. Now I've transitioned and I can actually watch the chat without the use of my phone. Actually, we'll need to take a quick piss break. Not a priss break. I'm not prissy. But we'll take a quick break. So, yeah, we can await the response from Travis. So let's, actually, you know what? We'll put another Bond song up. It goes, we love the Bond here. Let's see here. I don't know. I personally like this song. So there you go. Whoops. That's not doing it. I got to do that again. Let's try it once more. All right, I'll be right back.
Storm
deceived. I've seen angels fall from blinding heights, but you yourself are nothing so divine. Just next in line on yourself, because no one else here will save you. The odds will betray you, and they will replace you. You can't deny the prize, it may never fulfill you. It longs to kill you. Are you willing to die? The coldest blood runs through my veins. You know my name. If you come inside, things will not be the same. When you return tonight, if you think you won, you never saw me change. The game that we have been playing, I've seen this diamond cut through harder men than you yourself. But if you must pretend, you may need to run on yourself, because no one else here will save you. Love will betray you, and I will replace you. You can't deny the prize, it may never fulfill you. It longs to kill you. Are you ready to die? The coldest blood runs through my veins. You know my name. 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 You know my name.
Nice. I got back just in time. All right, so back to the chat here real quick. Let's see. Connor says, I was thinking that's got to be the next step for space tourism anyways. Yes, absolutely. Before Bigelow Space went bankrupt because of COVID, they actually had an inflatable module that was sent to the space station, which was going to be the start of their space tourism, which was to establish hotels. It's so disappointing that that failed. Another interesting aspect is Bigelow Space actually purchased Skinwalker Ranch. They sold it, but they owned it for like 5-6 years. They filmed a shitload out of what was going on. If you tuned into Dirty Rotten podcast last week, we talked about a bit of that, which is under the missing 411 file. But yeah, they had actually purchased that. So now let's get back to the game here. Shout out to the 12 viewers that we have. So next thing that we got, we're going to cancel this maneuver here. We're going to fast forward so that we're back into the light. All right, so there we go, ladies and gentlemen. GoldenEye is now active. It is in a highly elliptical orbit, apoapsis of 1,000,000+ kilometers, and the lowest point about 100 kilometers. Never a bad thing, actually, when it comes to a spy satellite. They do vary their orbit and such. But if we were to unleash that weapon, it would have to be at the lowest point possible, or periapsis. But there we go. Travis, you've got yourself a working satellite, you supervillain you. And you can now hold the world hostage, like Cobra Commander or, you know, Blofeld. Let's see here. Connor says, same Bigelow who owns Skinwalker Ranch? Yes, exactly. Says he loved that show. I don't know what you're referring to. Maybe the Missing 401. That's like more of a series. They've got movies. They've got, what else? Podcasts and stuff. But there's no TV show. Like, they've been featured on TV shows and stuff. But it's not like, they have an actual TV show. So. All right, so let's see here. Let's go back to our Space Center. And all right, so I don't know. I'm not really feeling right now to save YR and the rest of them. I want to spend some time to actually do that, I guess, efficiently. That's interesting. The sun's casting a shadow. That's just the mountains, actually. But I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I think I'm done for today. I had fun getting GoldenEye in orbit. I was thinking of doing maybe a few other things, but not feeling it right now. But we still have, if we go back to our tracking station here, just to remind everyone, that we still have in lunar orbit Savior 1 and VE Express. So VE Express is where we've got YR, Bullfrog, and Keith still stuck in orbit with very little fuel left. And they're just hoping that they're going to be rescued. And then, if we go back to our tracking station, and we go back to Savior 1, we'll look at our newly redesigned capsule, 4-person capsule, specifically engineered to rescue these jokers. And we still have a half fuel tank of lunar injection stage. So this could get us to the moon and back, no problem. And then we've got this stage here, which is made specifically for lunar orbit rendezvous and rescue, or as I like to call it, like Bobby Orr. And Tiff is committed to helping save these people out of charity. So actually, that's where they are. You can see that right now. They're about 68 kilometers, it looks like. So what we're going to eventually do is we're going to try to calculate our closest rendezvous possible. Because at 68 kilometers, it's not bad. And our orbits do intersect a fair bit. So where they do intersect, that's probably the best time to, so obviously it's a little late now, but where they do intersect, that's usually the best time to adjust your orbit. So that as soon as your craft is coming up this way, for example, their craft is coming up this way. And as you intersect that, you're close enough that you'll be able to stabilize your approach and sort of get close enough that you can do a transfer of the crew members. So we're going to go back to Space Center here. Yeah, Veselov, being a space director is quite demanding. I mean, it's a lot of stress. I got a lot of virtual lives on the line here. And, I got to take a break from time to time. But, hey, little by little, I've established things. We got GoldenEye up. That was a request, and we did that. And that was fun to do. So we're going to quit the main menu here. Plus, also another thing is that, doesn't anybody else like to play space? I mean, doesn't anybody want to be like, Space Command operator or something? Like, give me commands from from Kerbal Space Center or something like that. Like nobody, I mean, like I know that it's kind of like similar like Bubbles. It's like, I like to play space, but nobody wants to play space with me. I mean, come on. I mean, fuck, Ricky, you're not even trying. So we're going to transition back to this screen here. We're also going to recognize all those that have been so kind and gracious to donate to us. But yeah, so, yeah, 44 minutes. Not my longest Kerbal video, but not my shortest either. And hey, I had fun. I enjoyed interacting with you guys and playing a little space, as it were. But yeah, this is to me this is fun. I don't care about the numbers. I know a lot of people are into this stuff. I know that people, aren't into the science like I am, and they don't want to hear me prattle on about orbital dynamics or anything like that. That's fine. I really, I'm cool with that. I really don't take offense, really. It's not that I don't care. It's just don't take offense. I know that some people are into certain things. That's fine. But I'm here having fun. I'm glad that you people who have chosen to stay here, or at least have something to do. Maybe you're not having fun, but at least it's distracting. I mean, sometimes work can be so annoying that you'd be willing to listen to a fucking bullfrog stream. So, I understand, But hey, I liked it. Hope you did too. And I'm glad that you stuck around. So, I don't know if I'm going to be live later. Maybe I will. I don't know. Tony's been talking some poo-poo. But it's just hard to review that guy because of just the stupidity that he puts on and all those fucking voice changes and all that shit. But regardless, Dirty Rotten podcast should be airing tonight on the Mars Mirror channel. Not too sure what the discussion will be tonight, but, it's always a good one. So, usually 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to check it out. And, yeah, on that note, I am Devious Dave Rose, and we shall see you